Welcome back to the Motion Picks. Risen is a Christian film, and I happen to be a Christian. But before you dismiss this review and conclude that my bias will get in the way of a measured critique, first listen to what I have to say. Now, I don't usually go to the cinema to learn about God. I have a perfectly good Bible at home. So if films like this aren't made for Christians to learn something new, we can assume they're intended for non-believers. Yet, when I ventured the interwebs for a critical consensus, I found that many people refer to the film as preaching to the choir. Now, although I don't see how members of the choir are perfect know-it-all Christians who don't need no sermon, I get what the critics are saying. If you can't convert me, what's the point, right? How about I talk about the movie? Risen is set in Jerusalem at the dawn of the 1st century. When I say dawn, I mean that the plot literally starts at 1 minute AD. A Roman tribune named Clavius, played by Joseph Fiennes, is tasked with ensuring that a crucified man named Yeshua is dead and remains dead. And by Yeshua, of course, we're referring to Jesus. However, when Yeshua's tomb is found empty, it's Agatha Christie a la 1st century, as Clavius and his sidekick, played by Tom Felton, take on the case of the missing corpse. Although I like to make a point of not divulging spoilers, given that this is a Christian film, it's not hard to guess the outcome. Even so, one of the main issues that critics had with this film is that the ending is so clear-cut pro-Christian. And although this probably comes down to a difference in ideology between filmmaker and critic, I can understand why non-believers might find it hard to relate with. The central character is a fictional creation made with the purpose of inserting a non-believer's point of view into the gospel story. That said, the character's journey of faith is very specific and not the sort that would occur in our day and age. But instead of going for an ambiguous ending, which is what secular viewers might crave, the filmmakers chose to be honest about what they believe. If they decided to leave it all up in the air, the audience would come to their own conclusions and they might miss the Christian message entirely. Knowing that the Bible says that only God can change people's hearts, I'm not hedging my bets on this movie causing too many conversions. The film probably works best as a conversation starter where matters of faith can be discussed without making the subject taboo. All this talking and I still haven't addressed whether or not the film is any good. The man behind the camera is Kevin Reynolds, whose CV features many period films, yet only few of which are actually noteworthy. Unfortunately, the directing isn't one of the film's strongest assets. The cinematography isn't necessarily problematic, it's just that the camera doesn't revel in the period as much as it could. I might be nitpicking, but that's a negative for me. As far as acting is concerned, the central performances are strong. Yet the director doesn't get much out of the supporting cast. The worst example of this were the guards put in charge of Jesus' grave. These, unfortunately, were played for comic effect, which takes away from the intrigue that they were building. But I have to give props to the casting director for choosing Cliff Curtis as their Jesus. It's refreshing to see a Jesus who doesn't just look like your standard long-haired Brad Pitt. But the film's at its best when it focuses on the journey of Joseph Fiennes' Clavius. Fiennes offers an impressive performance that's always on key. It's his portrayal of a man struggling with doubt that engages us and makes Risen a journey worth taking. It also pleases me to inform you that Joseph Fiennes is far less creepy than his older brother when it comes to relating to Tom Felton. Well done, Draco. Have you seen Risen yet? What did you think? Please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and hit subscribe for the full Motion Picks experience. Till next time.